Tonight on CTV News at 6, the Premier's plans for the province. Danielle Smith's special address to Albertans. A West Edmonton landmark lost to flames.
They should have tore it down. They should have tore it down. I don't understand why they didn't tear down that building.
And
tippy-tappy, tippy-tappy, oi, oi, oi!
Firefighters keeping busy in the cold for a good cause.
Well, we hit a high of -15, and did you think -15 would feel so warm? It was a very cold start. We're not done with the cold as we go throughout tomorrow and the weekend, but there's a warm-up coming our way, and we'll have those details coming up.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith will deliver a televised address tonight. She's expected to discuss a number of issues, including immigration and next week's budget. Connor Hogg joins us now with more. Connor, has Smith given any indication of what we can expect to hear tonight?
Jeff, over the last week, Smith has been preparing Albertans for a budget deficit. Yesterday, she says Alberta's expenses are growing faster than revenue growth. She says one of the reasons is hundreds of thousands of people moving to our province within the last few years.
This clearly needs to change. This is not sustainable. So I'll have more to say about that in the address, and then we'll begin the conversation with Albertans about what needs to happen next.
Smith says Alberta's fast-growing population is a reason why expenses are higher than the province's revenue. Two of Smith's political staffers posted immigration infographics on social media yesterday, including one saying, quote, "This absolute insanity needs to stop. It will." Political science professor Laurie Williams says voters are looking for solutions.
We know that there are going to be budgetary challenges because of the price of oil. What we need is less of a focus on blaming immigration as the cause of these problems and a bit more of a plan for how to deal with the problems that we're facing.
Smith has said she would like to see a return to Stephen Harper-era immigration policy. She says back then, newcomers were able to integrate easily into society, especially because they came with good-paying jobs. Jeff?
All right, Connor, thank you. That's Connor Hogg live for us tonight. And again, the Premier's address is airing tonight at 6:45. You can catch it right here on CTV News at 6. The province says it has destroyed the remainder of the children's pain and fever medicine it ordered from Turkey during the COVID pandemic. AHS says disposing of the medication cost about $700,000. In 2022, the Alberta government ordered the liquid acetaminophen because of a shortage of children's pain medicine. By the time it arrived, the shortage was over. It was also pulled from neonatal intensive care units because it was clogging feeding tubes. The province says half of its remaining 1.4 million bottles were donated, but the rest have now been destroyed because it was set to expire. Crews now have a fire under control at an old hotel along Stony Plain Road. The building has been abandoned for years, leaving some people in the area questioning why it was still standing. Evan Kenny reports.
The south wall of the Jasper Place Hotel along Stony Plain Road crumbles as firefighters spray the building. Edmonton Fire says the flames started just after 5 a.m.
The wind was kind of pushing it from the south, so the fire typically spread from the south to the north, and it travels under the roof where we can't get at it.
Edmonton Fire says the building was abandoned and no injuries have been reported, although firefighters still need to search inside.
We've dealt with a lot of fires in boarded up buildings over the past number of years, and I'm sure it'll continue to be a concern until more of these buildings get demolished.
The Jasper Place Hotel was shut down by Alberta Health Services around Christmas of 2019. AHS said a fire may have spread hazardous materials to other parts of the building.
They should have tore it down. They should have tore it down. I don't understand why they didn't tear down that building.
It's not just this building that has caught fire in recent years.
There are kind of some condemned buildings by our apartment, so of course it is alarming.
Is it concerning to you just seeing, this many fires in the last 10
Considering years? I live in a 1947 house with wood as dry as anything, yeah.
It's less of a trend of buildings burning down. It's more of a trend of we need more eyes on the street, and we need better enforcement of problem properties.
The Stony Plain Road Business Association wants to see the city do more to protect the businesses and people in the area.
The city of Edmonton needs to have the same approach to problem commercial property that they have with problem residential property.
CTV News has reached out to the city for comment and are waiting for a response. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
The federal government is spending millions of dollars on 2 Edmonton companies under its new defense strategy. The announcement was made at Logican Technologies, one of the first Alberta companies under the Regional Defense Investment Initiative. The fund is designed to help companies increase production or to contribute to Canada's defense needs. Logican is getting $1.5 million for manufacturing tech such as sonar and sensors. 0 Point Cryogenics is getting $5 million to speed up research and commercialize defense systems. It says it's one of only 6 manufacturers in the world capable of producing these kinds of cold systems.
In Edmonton, we have the right mix of blue-collar expertise and scientific research to continue inventing breakthrough cryogenic systems and manufacturing them at scale. We employ physicists from the University of Alberta and tradespeople from the polytechnics of the prairies.
Yesterday, the city said it would be part of a defense alliance for the Edmonton region. The group will promote our area as a hub for military research and innovation. A woman who took the city to court to try and stop a proposed housing project is disappointed her efforts failed. Still, as Jeremy Thompson reports, it has prompted some permanent changes at City Hall.
So the land that you're looking at will be townhomes.
Leah Widenowski surveys the park space she and her neighbors have been trying to preserve for the last few years. Wednesday, council voted to sell a section of it for $1 to be developed into townhomes with half of the units subsidized.
Even though I am disappointed, I'm not surprised. This decision was made a long time ago. Our voices probably didn't really matter.
Widenowski spearheaded the community effort to stop the below-market land sale, even taking the city to court after councillors handled 11 similar sales at the same time in late 2024. A judge ruled the mandatory public hearing on the motion was not held, rendering the sale approval procedurally unfair.
I was really disappointed in their response yesterday, however. I mean, we didn't even get so much as an apology to having to come back to this matter again because of the mistake that they made.
City staff confirmed to council the incident will not change written policy, but in the future, administration will ensure decisions on certain issues go through a full public hearing process.
The courts made their ruling, and so we want to, going forward, anytime we're talking about a land sale below market value or removal of a land use designation, we'll put it in the form of a public hearing instead of a committee meeting, which is what the city did for decades.
The homes will replace a small soccer field and a couple of children's ball diamonds. The playground, tennis courts, and more will remain. Widenowski says the focus now shifts to working with the developer, Treaty 8 First Nations of Alberta. She says the experience in civic engagement is a motivator for future battles.
If anything, it means we need more people to come out, provide their voices.
Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
More Olympic hockey action took over Edmonton bars this afternoon, but it didn't end as fans had hoped.
No! That's not the outcome we wanted.
The women's gold medal game saw Canada lead for much of the match. Late in the third, the U.S. scored, sending the game into OT. Then, 4 minutes into sudden death overtime, Megan Keller got the game winner for USA.
It was a great game. I mean, I'm disappointed that the U.S. won.
You got to lose the gold to get the silver, and that's heartbreaking.
We'll have a full recap of the game later in the newscast. The Edmonton Elks plan to honor their roots by playing an exhibition game at their former home. The Elks will host the Calgary Stampeders May 29th at Clark Stadium, the original home of the franchise. They played pro football there for 30 years. The team says there will be vintage setups throughout the stadium. 5 firefighters are 2/3 of their way through a rooftop campout for charity. Despite temperatures dropping as low as -28, they say they're trying to put the fun in fundraising with some standout videos. Matt Woodman has more.
Morale's high, even though the temperatures are low. After signing up for 57 hours of rooftop camping, 5 Edmonton firefighters needed something to do to pass the time besides downing donuts.
They say cops like donuts.
And getting some sleep.
Welcome to Mike's Mansion.
So the guys got creative.
Tippy tappy, oi, oi, oi. Tippy tappy, oi, oi, oi.
Tippy Tap is like God here. It rules all of our decisions.
Essentially hand hacky sack.
Oh, big one.
The first one to drop this homemade ball 3 times.
What's that ball made of?
Ready? Tape. Duct tape.
Well, just duct
and a sock, I think.
Is stuck doing chores.
Change the garbages or wake up early for an interview or whatever the chore might be.
Did you lose Tippy Tap? Is that why you're...
You know what? This one I volunteered for, but I've definitely lost my fair share of Tippy Tap.
While they bounce the ball around, they're also bouncing ideas off one another for their next video.
Some good, some not so good.
In the lead up to this fundraiser for muscular dystrophy, each fire station created countdown videos.
The fire crews get really involved with it, and it really helps us gain traction for the event.
You may recognize some from sitcoms.
Parkour!
Station 10 recreated the parkour scene from The Office, all in hazmat suits. That was hilarious.
Extreme! Parkour! Parkour!
Others are based on movies.
I was in the Station 19 video where we recreate the driving scene from Step Brothers. I was the son in the back seat.
She's got eyes of the bluest sky.
Do you have the pipes to pull off the sun in the back seat?
I hate to look into those eyes.
Absolutely not. We completely lip sang that, obviously.
But one based on a Miley Cyrus song really brought the house down.
I have to say I have to go with the fellas back at Station 1.
It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men.
The Wrecking Ball video.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
That caught everyone off guard, completely out of left field.
You can find your favorite and donate to the cause by visiting their Instagram. Just search EDM Fire Muscular Dystrophy. Matt Woodman, CTV News, Edmonton.
Well done, guys. You know, Corey, I bet that minus 16, minus 17 this afternoon felt fantastic after the cold this morning.
It did. We started at minus 28 this morning here in the city. Outlying areas were colder, so minus 16. Feeling not too bad, especially with the sun. That made a big difference. Right now, as we take a look at our current temperature, we've lost a couple degrees. We are at minus 8. Wind is fairly light, feeling like minus 23. Some other temperatures, Stony Plain minus 19. The airport and Elk Island both minus 20 and minus 19 in the Mayo. Wind chill values as low as minus 28. That's what we're seeing at the airport. We are still under a cold warning. Northern areas of the province as well. It has been dropped for Peace River as well as Whitecourt and Edson, but areas east of there, us included, as far south as Red Deer as well as Big Valley, are still under cold warning. Overnight lows close to minus 30 with wind chill values even lower. So still feeling the cold overnight. For us, we'll dip down to minus 26. Outlying areas will probably be closer to minus 30, and it'll feel like minus 34. A little bit more cloud overnight, and then tomorrow mainly sunny, minus 14. A little bit warmer than today. It'll feel like minus 18 with a light wind. As we take a look at your 3-day forecast, Saturday, minus 24 to start, so the overnight low is getting a little bit better. Minus 16, so much like today, but more cloud for Saturday, wind light. Sunday, mostly cloudy, minus 16 again. Late Sunday into Monday, there's a slight chance we could see some scattered flurries. That's ahead of some warmer air that will be pushing in. So a bit of a warm-up in your extended forecast. Your 5 and 10-day, I will have those coming up a little bit later on, Jeff.
All right, thank you, Corey. Coming up, help to battle extortion crimes.
We are welcoming it.
Reaction to the federal government's plan to stop extortions here and across Canada. Plus, snowmobiler killed while riding near Fernie, BC.
The CTV drone powered by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The Edmonton Police Service says it welcomes support by the federal government to crack down on extortion crimes.
We all want to be able to work together to make sure we can come to a viable solution, as these series are national and international.
Ottawa says it plans to embed officers who are experts in financial intelligence within police departments. The feds say this will be happening in Alberta, BC, and Ontario. EPS says it doesn't yet have details about the support Edmonton may get, but it is optimistic it will help. In recent years, our city has seen dozens of arsons and shootings police said were extortions targeting the South Asian business community. You can expect to see more Edmonton police officers at major events this year. Miriam Valdez-Carletti has more on what it takes to police our festival city.
When you go to a festival this summer, you may notice more Edmonton police officers.
Typically, our events are increasing by about 10% every year, as well as the resourcing to staff those events is increasing by 10% as well.
Last year, officers attended 139 major policing events, ranging from 12 officers for a standard Oilers game to 150 officers during the NHL playoffs. Policing those games cost the city almost $1 million. Officers also attended festivals, concerts, and protests.
Even with George Floyd, the Black Lives Matter movement and different things that came up, we didn't seem to have that type of those types of events back 15 years ago.
Norquest College criminologist Dan Jones says Edmonton sees more protests than other major cities because of the legislature. Police say while protests have increased, marches that interrupt public streets have gone down from 90 in 2024 to 19 in 2025.
Because we've seen a decrease in those marches, I think that has also decreased the public interest and the public worry about protests and demonstrations in our city.
Acting Inspector Brett Stixma says there are other reasons for a more visible police presence at major events.
Not only is it a deterrent to crime or suspicious or unacceptable criminal behavior, but it also shows that we're there to engage the community.
It's nice to have those interactions in a space that's not in a space of crisis, allowing police to be in these spaces with community together.
Ensuring everyone can enjoy living in Festival City safely. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
A snowmobiler was killed in an avalanche near Fernie on Tuesday. Two snowmobilers were riding in the Matheson Creek area when one triggered an avalanche while climbing a slope. Search and rescue responded to the scene. One of the riders was buried. His body was recovered yesterday. The slide comes after a recent snowstorm elevated the risk of avalanches throughout the Rockies. And Highway 93 near Radium, BC remains closed because of a rock slide. The road is shut down in both directions between the Kootenay National Park west boundary and the McKay Creek Operations Centre. According to Drive BC, the next closure update is expected tomorrow morning. Coming up, welcoming the Year of the Horse. Students saddle up for a Lunar New Year celebration and
we're just dedicated to making a better place for them and play whatever part we can.
Celebrating Black history at Alberta's legislature.
Well, it's cold here in the Edmonton area, but we have to look back to January to see very similar conditions. So it's been pretty decent throughout the end of January and the beginning of February. I'll have details on that and when we can expect a warm up coming up after commercial break.
Let's talk about the wind and what creates the wind. Sometimes a change in temperature can create the wind, but most of the wind that we get is from a change in, do you remember what we said? A change in what? Yes, pressure. That's right, the atmospheric pressure. And so it often seems like we get our windiest days when the weather is changing, and that's because that's kind of what's happening, right? If you have a really strong low pressure system moving towards you, all of a sudden the pressure is dropping really quickly. And then when it moves away, all of a sudden the pressure is rising really quickly. And it's that change in pressure, right? Here's your big, strong, high pressure system, really small, low pressure system. It's that change in pressure that'll give you a steeper hill for the wind to blow down and some of your gustiest days. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, so a change in pressure, a really rapid change in pressure is what's going to give you your strongest wind gusts, right?
Right.
These are the grade 5s from Smart Kids, miniature meteorologists, and you are
CTV.
Weather Watchers brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Strong schools equal a strong Alberta.
A celebration of Black History Month today at the Alberta legislature. The event was to recognize and celebrate the accomplishments and contributions of Black Albertans throughout history. There was a choir, a spoken word artist, and other performers. People like LeVar Saul also shared personal experiences.
For me, it's always about my children, believe it or not. They are born Albertans. My wife and I were immigrants to Canada. As much as we spent more than half of our lives in Canada, we're just dedicated to making a better place for them and playing whatever part we can.
Saul says one way people can do that is to be active citizens and teach kids how to volunteer. Students at Meadowlark School welcomed the Year of the Horse. Students celebrated the Lunar New Year with musical performances and dances. Meadowlark School is one of 14 in the Edmonton Public School Division that has a Chinese Mandarin bilingual program. Students put in a lot of practice to perform in front of friends and family. Rachel Lee says she was more nervous than she might be at any other recital.
It was pretty nervous because most of my other performances, it's in front of strangers. But this one felt a lot better because I got to show everyone what I could do and what I know.
It really shows the pride that our students have in the diversity of our school, in the cultures of our school, and the Mandarin bilingual program. It's heartwarming and exciting, and it's wonderful that to be able to share that with everyone.
The provincial government will also celebrate the Lunar New Year next week. There will be an event at the Alberta legislature on Tuesday at noon. And by then, it'll be warming up, right?
Yes.
Yes. Good.
It is going to warm up. The extended forecast, we've just got a little bit of cold for tomorrow,
we can
the
do
weekend.
This.
Yeah, we've got it. You know what? We do have it. We are going to be quite fine. At least we've got some sun in the forecast. And this is the view from the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace, fixed rate or it's free, -18. We did make it to -16 today. We started off at -28 here in the city. Outlying areas were colder. We did see some lows around the airport and surrounding areas around -30 and below. So it was colder in outlying areas, but -28, that's still pretty cold. So -16 today, average seasonal high -2. We do have some temperatures around and just above that in the extended forecast. So you want to stick around for that. As we take a look at February, we've got 3 days now below average seasonal high, 1 at, and then the rest well above, 15 days above average seasonal high. We have to look decently far back to see some temperature similar to what we saw today. As we take a look back at January, it was around the 23rd and 24th when we were seeing very similar temperatures. A large portion of January was above seasonal as well. So we've been actually quite spoiled throughout much of January and February. We've had very few cold spells. December was a different story. December was cold, but we've been doing okay over the last couple of months. And this is at least going to be a very short cold spell. We are going to be seeing temperatures climb as we head out of the weekend. Today's highs, -16 for us. Jasper, -9. Banff, -12. It was cold in the south. Medicine Hat, Lethbridge only making it up to -19. They're at -21 right now. Look at the wind chills down there. Lethbridge feeling like -30. Calgary, the wind chill also -30. We are at -18 right now, feeling like -23. And again, here in Edmonton, south towards Big Valley and Red Deer, and then areas north into the northeast and east are still under an extreme cold warning. Fairly clear sky. That's where we are seeing the extreme cold warning. Temperatures will drop off a little bit more as we go throughout the early morning hours. In some areas close to or just below -30. With wind chill values below that. As we take a look at our sky conditions, we're partly cloudy right now. We see a little bit more cloud as we go throughout the evening and overnight period. For Friday, mainly sunny throughout much of the day. Friday evening and overnight into Saturday, we've got more cloud moving in. So we'll see more cloud come Saturday. Tonight, -21. Overnight, -26. Outlying areas colder. The airport closer to -30. Here in Edmonton, it'll feel like -34. And then tomorrow, -14 for a high. Mainly sunny, feeling like -18. And then Saturday, Sunday, -16. A little bit more cloud for those days. Late Sunday overnight into Monday, a slight chance of some flurries with some warmer air moving in. After that, Tuesday, -6, mainly sunny. Take a look at the rest of next week. We've got some warm days. Above seasonal, we could be around 2 on Thursday, but it'll be short-lived. A little bit of a cool down, but not as cold as what we've seen after that. Jeff.
Okay, thank you, Corey. Still ahead, Royal arrested.
It truly is a seismic moment for this country, and I think for the monarchy as well.
Former Prince Andrew makes history and
peace. It's called the Board of Peace, and it's all about an easy word to say, but a hard word to produce: peace.
Donald Trump's new Board of Peace meets as speculation about an American strike on Iran grows.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Brought to you by Century Casino, 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
For the first time in hundreds of years, a member of the royal family has been arrested. The King's brother, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, was arrested but later released. He's under investigation for sharing sensitive information with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
Police stand outside Sandringham Estate, home to former Prince Andrew, later seen leaving a police station in this vehicle. The arrest on suspicion of misconduct in public office comes after police said they were looking into allegations Mountbatten Windsor had passed on documents to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein while he was working as a trade envoy.
It truly is a seismic moment for this country, and I think for the monarchy as well.
So what's your reaction to your brother's arrest?
King Charles wasn't answering questions Thursday about his little brother, but released a statement saying he learned the news with the deepest concern and the law must take its course. Mountbatten Windsor spent a decade as trade envoy. He made about a dozen visits to Canada in that period. Emails released in the Epstein files suggest he shared UK government reports in 2010. Mountbatten Windsor has always denied wrongdoing.
Whether those details that were passed on by Andrew to Epstein were all part of his job and part of his responsibilities, well, that's an open question. However, the official guidance for trade envoys was that they have a duty of confidentiality.
The family of Virginia Giuffre says the arrest is a win for Epstein victims. She died by suicide in May and in 2022 settled a lawsuit accusing the former prince of sexually abusing her as a teenager.
I think we're very hopeful that this is the start of the domino effect. This is where the house of cards starts falling.
Police released a short statement after the former prince was seen leaving the police station, saying he was released under investigation with some police searches of royal property still underway. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Representatives of 40 countries attended the U.S. president's first meeting of his Board of Peace in Washington. Key allies like Canada, the UK, France, and Germany weren't there or opted out. While the focus was on rebuilding Gaza, all eyes were on a massive military buildup headed to Iran. With more, here's CTV's Joy Melvin.
The president calls this his crowning achievement in the newly named Donald J. Trump U.S. Institute of Peace, convening his first Board of Peace. With representatives from 40 nations, $7 billion was pledged towards rebuilding war-torn Gaza, just a fraction of what's needed.
Rafah fully rebuilt.
Showing a video of what Gaza could become, Hamas still has not disarmed, and Israel continues to strike during this fragile ceasefire.
Peace. It's called the Board of Peace, and it's all about an easy word to say, but a hard word to produce: peace.
But the president's talk of peace being overshadowed as the U.S. readies for possible war with Iran. Flight tracking shows a massive U.S. war machine is taking shape in the Middle East. Hundreds of jet fighters and warships sent to the region. The president, who promised no more foreign wars, prepared to strike, he says, unless Iran ends its nuclear ambitions.
Now is the time for Iran to join us. They cannot continue to threaten the stability of the entire region, and they must make a deal Or if that doesn't happen, I maybe can understand. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But bad things will happen.
After Trump claimed in June that Operation Hammer obliterated Iran's nuclear abilities, Trump has hinted at regime change. And after Iran's deadly crackdown on protesters, the president promised help was on the way. Showing military drills on state TV, Iran warns that any U.S. attack would trigger retaliation like never before. The president says he's giving negotiations in Geneva a chance, but set a timeline, giving Tehran the next 10 to 15 days to make a deal. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
Still to come, the Premier's address on the upcoming budget, and
they train hard, they prepare hard, they love the game.
Still, Canada falls to the U.S. We'll have a recap of the gold medal match.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you tonight on CTV.
Checking now on today's markets. The Canadian dollar closed at 73 cents U.S. Oil is up $1.35, now over $66 a barrel. Gold lost a little, down about $12. The TSX is up 205 points. The Dow Jones down 268. It's a rivalry that has dominated women's hockey, and the game didn't disappoint, even though Canada did not win gold. A hard-fought match that went all the way to sudden death overtime. CTV's Scott Hurst takes us through the women's gold medal hockey game.
Team USA is the Olympic champion in women's hockey. It is a devastating loss for the Canadian women, who are looking to end a 7-game losing streak to their rivals. Canada will still leave Milano Cortina with a silver medal. The win for the Americans puts them back on top of the podium after losing the gold medal match to Canada at the Beijing Games 4 years ago.
It's so enormous, the Olympic Games, right? Every shift, every period.
Heading into the game, fans on both sides were ready to witness another chapter in this bitter rivalry, and it was Canada who allowed their fans to believe first. No goals in the opening frame, but very early in the second period, the red and white opened the scoring, while Team USA was on the power play. 27-year-old Kristen O'Neill from Oakville, Ontario, put Canada in the lead with the shorthanded goal, only the second goal Team USA had allowed all tournament. But late in the third, with just over 2 minutes to go, the USA finally broke through. America's captain Hillary Knight with the equalizer, and it would stay tied through the end of regulation. In overtime, it was Megan Keller for the Americans with the golden goal. Despite the loss for Canada, this rivalry continues to push the women's game to new heights.
These women are great athletes. They train hard, they prepare hard, they love the game, they have a passion for it.
With Canada's latest silver, it boosts our overall medal count to 15 with more podium opportunities on Friday. However, much of the attention will be back on hockey, a semi-final versus Finland. The Canadian men will get the chance to punch their ticket to the gold medal game. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
That was an intense hockey game. The one goal Canada scored, you could hear it echoing throughout the whole building. People watching in every office yelling.
Yeah,
so
for sure. I don't know. Silver's great.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's just because it was next to the U.S. getting gold. That's
exactly
where the cut
it.
is.
Yeah, too bad.
Weather-wise, minus 14 tomorrow. It'll still be quite cold in the morning. Minus 26 colder in outlying areas. Minus 16 for Saturday, Sunday. But take a look at Tuesday. We can look forward to that. Minus 6. It's going to feel quite nice after some cold days in and around the Edmonton area. Slight chance of flurries Sunday into Monday.
All right. Thanks, Corey. And thank you very much for sharing your time with us. The Premier's address to Albertans is next.
The following is a paid program. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of this station.
Good evening, my fellow Albertans. With the new budget approaching and a shifting geopolitical landscape, I wanted to take some time to speak with you about how your provincial government plans to navigate these challenges while ensuring Alberta continues to prosper. I'd like to start with the good news. The Alberta economy is once again booming. We are leading the entire country in virtually every economic category, from job growth to investment to GDP to wages. The Energy Agreement, or MOU, signed with Ottawa last year, has eliminated both the destructive oil and gas production cap and the net zero power regulations. These two victories alone have had an immediate supercharging effect on our economy. In just the last few weeks, we have had tens of billions in new projects announced, including several new AI data centers, the expansion of TMX and other pipelines headed west and south, and a final investment decision by Dow Chemicals on their multi-billion-dollar plastics facility. And that's just the start. In the coming year, we expect tens of billions in data center and power generation announcements, oil production facility expansions, and approval from the federal government for a 1 million barrel a day pipeline to our west coast bound for Asian markets. These investments will create a massive number of new jobs for Albertans and will prime the pump, so to speak, for more investments in all sectors of the economy, from agriculture to tech to tourism to aviation and everything in between. It's an exciting time for our province. However, we have a very serious growth and budget challenge that must be addressed. In the year I became premier, the price of oil averaged $90 a barrel US. These strong oil prices saw our budget enjoy royalty revenue of over $25 billion and a surplus of around $12 billion, which we used to build up the Heritage Fund and pay down provincial debt. Since that time, however, the price of oil has fallen by over $30 a barrel to around $60. Each $1 drop in the price of oil means roughly $750 million less in oil royalties for the province. The result? What had been a $12 billion surplus in 2023 at $90 oil has turned into a large budget deficit at $60 oil. This is not the first crash in oil prices our province has faced, nor will it be the last. What is unique about the current oil price crash versus others in the past is that our economy today is more diversified, resilient, and still growing despite the drop in oil price. To put it bluntly, people across the country and around the world continue to want to move to our province in very large numbers to pursue job opportunities and prosperity. In the past, Canada's responsible immigration policies, such as those under Prime Minister Stephen Harper, constrained international immigration to manageable levels in Alberta so that our province could keep up with the growth of our economy and population. It also ensured that new immigrants primarily arrived here with highly valuable skills, a good job, and started contributing income taxes the moment they arrived. That is the story of the vast majority of our amazing new Canadians who arrived here during that time and are now citizens. These Albertans were and are a huge strength to our economy and provincial culture. And then came Justin Trudeau's disastrous open border immigration policies, which have caused an unprecedented strain on our healthcare, education, and other social programs. In just the last 5 years of Trudeau's tenure, Alberta grew by almost 600,000 people to more than 5 million, all while Ottawa throttled our most important job-creating industries and prioritized immigration away from economic migrants and instead focused on international students, temporary workers, and asylum seekers. Adding 600,000 people in 5 years is like adding half the city of Calgary or Edmonton in 5 years. Although sustainable immigration has always been an important part of our provincial growth model, throwing the doors wide open to anyone and everyone across the globe has flooded our classrooms, emergency rooms, and social support systems with far too many people, far too quickly. As just one example, our student population has skyrocketed by more than 80,000 students in just the last 4 years, and more than 140,000 students now having English as their additional language. Is it any wonder that our teachers and students are struggling so much with classroom complexity and crowding? To sum up our budget challenge, low oil prices combined with an out-of-control federal immigration policies are together driving unsustainable budget deficits, not just here, but across the country. That's the problem. So what's the solution? Today, I want to share with you a three-part strategy to address this budget challenge without resorting to deep and disruptive cuts to core social services. The long-term strategy was announced last year. Our government has already initiated an investment plan to build the Alberta Heritage Fund to more than $250 billion by 2050. We are already ahead of schedule by reinvesting rather than spending interest earned in the fund each year and investing the bulk of large surpluses in years with high oil prices like we saw in 2023. Our government has already doubled the Heritage Fund from roughly $16 billion in 2021 to almost $32 billion today. That's how quickly you can move the dial. We just have to stick with it. If future Alberta governments continue with this strategy through to 2050, the annual interest earned on the Heritage Fund each year will ensure we can weather any short-term dip in oil and gas prices and non-renewable resource revenue. When we reach this goal, Alberta will be forever free from its over-reliance on oil and gas revenues. We need to stay the course. In addition to our long-term strategy, our government also has a medium-term strategy to double Alberta's oil and gas production and exports to more than 8 million barrels a day by 2035. Doing so will allow us to secure higher resource revenues for our budget, even when energy prices are lower like they are today. And when energy prices bump back up, our province will see large surpluses, which will help us to reach the $250 billion by 2050 Heritage Fund target that I just outlined. That is why our government will continue to work diligently on implementing the energy agreement signed with Ottawa to build 1.3 million barrels per day of additional pipeline capacity to the West Coast, while also working with our great Canadian pipeline companies to expand pipeline capacity headed south. We will also continue to work on our agreement signed with Ontario to send hundreds of thousands of barrels of Alberta crude to their refineries and explore opportunities to unlock deepwater port access for our energy resources in the Maritimes, Quebec, and the Hudson's Bay. Alberta will double our pipeline capacity over the next 10 years, and our oil producers will grow and fill that pipe. We will not permit Alberta's and Canada's most valuable resource deposit, worth almost $10 trillion, to remain in the ground to the detriment of millions of Canadians. That's not going to happen. Now, having a medium and long-term plan is very important. However, what are we going to do about our budget situation in the short term? After all, we can't just sit by waiting and hoping for world oil prices to recover, nor can we trust the federal government to manage our immigration system in the best interests of Albertans. So here's the short-term plan. First off, our government will not be implementing drastic cuts to social services. The approved wage increases for our doctors, nurses, and teachers will remain in place so we can continue to attract the skilled professionals needed to catch up with our growth. Albertans have learned from experience that during times of low oil prices, the key is to limit increases in spending and focus it on building the schools, health facilities, roads, and other infrastructure needed to build a strong and diversified economy with a world-class standard of living. So instead of drastic cuts in upcoming budgets, we will instead be cutting unnecessary bureaucracy, improving efficiencies in program delivery, and prioritizing needs before wants as much as possible. We will continue to limit overall government spending increases to below inflation and population growth, implement more income testing for social programs so they are more financially sustainable, and critically, we will address head-on the challenge of out-of-control immigration levels that are overwhelming our core social services. The changes we need to make to immigration are a significant departure from the status quo, and therefore I am seeking a referendum mandate from Albertans to implement them. On October 19th, 2026, we will hold a provincial referendum primarily focused on how Albertans want our government to deal with the issue of immigration, as well as steps we can take as a province to strengthen our constitutional and fiscal position within a united Canada. These were far and away the issues most strongly identified by Albertans during last year's Alberta Next panel, town halls, and online submissions. And in my view, it is time to act on them. The fact is, Alberta taxpayers can no longer be asked to continue to subsidize the entire country through equalization and federal transfers, permit the federal government to flood our borders with new arrivals, and then give free access to our most generous in the country social programs to anyone who moves here. This is not only grossly unfair to Alberta taxpayers, but also financially crippling and undercuts the quality of our healthcare, education, and other social services. The October 19th referendum will therefore include the following questions. Number 1, do you support the government of Alberta taking increased control over immigration for the purpose of decreasing immigration to more sustainable levels, prioritizing economic migration, and ensuring Albertans have first priority to new employment opportunities? Number 2, Do you support the government of Alberta introducing a law mandating only Canadian citizens, permanent residents, and individuals with an Alberta-approved immigration status will be eligible for provincially funded programs, such as health, education, and other social services? Number 3, assuming that all citizens and permanent residents continue to qualify for social support programs as they do now, do you support the government of Alberta introducing a law requiring all individuals with a non-permanent legal immigration status to be resident in Alberta for at least 12 months before qualifying for any provincially funded social support programs? Number 4, assuming that all citizens and permanent residents continue to qualify for public health care and education as they do now, do you support the government of Alberta charging a reasonable fee or premium to individuals with a non-permanent immigration status living in Alberta for their and their families' use of the health care and education systems? Number 5, do you support the government of Alberta introducing a law requiring individuals to provide proof of citizenship, such as a passport, birth certificate, or citizenship card, to be eligible to vote in a provincial election? To strengthen Alberta's constitutional and fiscal position within a united Canada, we will also be asking you the following questions on the referendum ballot. Do you support the government of Alberta proactively working with other willing provinces to amend the Canadian Constitution in the following ways? A, have provincial governments and not the federal government select the justices appointed to provincial King's Bench and appeals courts. B, abolish the unelected federal Senate. C, allow provinces to opt out of federal programs intruding on provincial jurisdictions such as health, education, and social services without losing any of the associated federal funding for use in their own provincial social programs. D, better protect provincial rights from federal interference by giving a province's laws dealing with provincial or shared constitutional areas of jurisdiction priority over federal laws when in conflict with one another. I look forward to the debate on these critically important ideas and to receive your decision on the questions outlined so that our government can get to work on implementing an immigration policy that puts the needs of Albertans first, as well as constitutional reforms needed to make Alberta stronger and more sovereign within a united Canada. In closing, I want you to know how confident I am in the judgment of Albertans on these and other delicate issues. Although there are some politicians and commentators that fear direct democracy, such as referendums, I do not. I trust the judgment of Albertans. I know that as a province, we will thoughtfully ponder, debate, and ultimately come to a wise decision on these questions that will benefit our families and our fellow Albertans for generations, just as we've always done. May our beautiful province forever remain strong and free. Thank you and good night.
The proceeding was a paid program. The opinions expressed did not necessarily reflect